It's like we never left. The Bachelor Roundtable is back. Joining me, as always, senior producer Jenna, along with our digital team, Britt and Abby. And guys, we got a new season of The Bachelor to talk about, and a Bachelor who has never been on TV before, Matt James, but he is already a fan favorite.
Matt! So we haven't had somebody who's never been on reality TV since 2012. And I didn't realize how refreshing it was to have somebody who we didn't know, who didn't really know the ins and outs of reality TV.
Heart's about to burst out of my chest. I'm like super nervous. It builds up to this moment.
Well, and he's not only the first, it's the first time that we've ever had someone who's not part of the Bachelor franchise since the very beginning, but he's also our first Black Bachelor, which is huge deal, history making, and also very overdue. I think we can all agree. And it was a pretty big part of the first episode. I
experienced what it was like to be a product of an interracial marriage. And it's tough because you've got people who have certain views, old school views on what a relationship and what love looks like.
I think he is such a wholesome, genuine soul. And I think he really is like so into this process. But when some of these women came out of the limo and like their conversations, I was like, he's gonna get crushed. He's gonna get eaten alive by these women.
There were a lot of memorable entrances, but probably the most talked about one was from a local girl named Katie, who's from Renton, who brought a very interesting piece with her to introduce herself to Matt.
You know, this pandemic was really hard for me, and this just really got me through a lot. Mm-hmm. And I was hoping to pass the torch to you.
You follow us on our private Facebook group. It was kind of back and forth of whether people agreed with it. I thought it was really funny at the beginning, but the gag lasted a little too long, and I was kind of over it real quick.
I was a big fan of Katie and the gag. I'm a big fan of humor. I look for humor in my relationships and sarcasm, and I did not see someone make Matt laugh as hard as he laughed after Katie came out, and continued to laugh even during the prayer.
Sorry, I saw the vibrator. I lost my train of thought. Right after the prayer.
So we're talking about women that made an entrance. I think one of my personal favorites was Kayla. She rolled up in a pickup truck. She's also from North Carolina, just like Matt is.
Is that stick or was it automatic?
It's stick. Put some respect on my name.
Hey, I respect that.
I don't think she might go very far, but I thought it was a wonderful entrance and it was one of my favorites.
One of the standouts for me, we mentioned her, Bree, the first woman out of the limo, was stunningly beautiful, but they also had like a deep conversation during the cocktail hour. I was stunned she didn't get the first impression rose, to be quite honest with you.
Speaking of the first impression rose, if there was going to be anyone that got it other than Bree, I think, you know, we all fell in love with Abigail.
So there's something a little bit different about me, and that is I'm deaf. So I'm going to be reading your lips a lot tonight.
Okay.
But thankfully you have really beautiful lips, so I'm not complaining.
I feel like everyone just fell in love with Abigail a little bit, including Matt, and she got the first impression rose.
And knowing that you're a fighter, I thought that it was only appropriate that I ask you something. Abigail, will you accept this rose?
Oh my God, I will.
Never in the history of the Bachelor franchise have I gotten a little bit glimpse over a first impression rose, and that was it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. You just really loved their connection. During the rose ceremony, I don't think there was any serious surprises. One that we had, that obviously a girl that's not gonna make it very far, is the girl that's a queen, apparently. What is her name?
I just wanna like put my best foot forward.
You good?
I'm good.
Queen Victoria, we know what you're doing. You're trying to make it on Bachelor in Paradise. You're not trying to be serious about it. We get it, Queen Victoria. We get what you're doing.
What do you do? I do marketing. Well, market yourself to Matt. What? Like, market yourself to Matt.
I mean, when he gave her a rose, I mean, sometimes it just makes my eyes roll, the producer picks, right? Like, there's no way that he actually saw something with her.
I think we can all agree that we need less drama in 2021. And from the edits of the future season of this, it doesn't look too crazy, and I'm here for it. And I think we actually have some really cool girls, and I'm really excited to see how this all turns out.